had a conversation with Arizona's top economist, Jim Rounds, to talk about Peoria and its future economic development capability.
It's very hard, and as being a small business owner myself, it's very hard to sometimes give up certain things.
Trust.
But you have to have the right people, and when you have the right people, everything works out wonderfully.
Yeah, and it's not always successful, right? I mean, I've had multiple employees, literally thousands of employees over the last 22 years that have worked for me, and I have the mentality. I've had people that I pour into that I don't always get the return on that I pour into. And you could, as a business owner, go, well, I'm burnt out, I'm not going to pour back into somebody else because it's not going to. I don't think that you can have that mentality, and I don't think you can have that mentality in a business, and I don't think you can have that mentality in a city or any type of government, because what ends up happening is then you're putting it all back in your court, right? You can't be you can't be the only quarterback. What you really need to be is the coach. Right? You need to be on the sidelines, focusing on how you're actually utilizing the tools that you have within the city to actually help drive the actual city revenue, to reduce debt, and actually focus on coach, mentor the overall employees in the city itself. That is what's going to be best for the city. One person can't solve all the problems. What one person can do, and what the city council can do, is be highly educated on the actual the economic issues that are at play. They can be highly educated on the focus on what the intent and the vision is of that city, and actually look at how they're actually going to all work together to actually drive the revenue forward. That doesn't mean we're going to go to an ice cream store and actually sell ice cream. What that means is that we're going to be Beam a Light focused on the vision of the city together, and we're not always going to agree. Myself and the other council members, we're not always going to agree with every single step, and that's okay. The goal, and I had some really good advice from a mayor here locally at one of our surrounding cities, and he said, I'm not concerned about the person that voted with me every single time. I'm concerned about the person that didn't vote, that was the dissenting vote. And what he meant by that, and what he explained further on, was that I want to actually get to what their issues and what their value stream is and what their goals are. So that way I can actually try to work together with them to actually figure out how I'm actually going to solve future problems. It doesn't mean that person's going to vote with you every single time. The goal is you're supposed to be the mayor for everybody. You're supposed to be the council for everybody, not just somebody. And I think that the one thing that I know that my skill set is, and from the business acumen that I have, is that I can actually pour into other people and constantly try to coach, mentor throughout that process. Everybody has different tactics of how they actually do that. And every single person that you're actually coaching and mentoring has a different way of how they're actually going to receive that information. And some good and some bad. And that's just the course of being a human being over that period of time. But if you focus on how you're actually driving the revenue back to the city, you can solve so many of these problems. To learn more about the campaign, please visit our website at beckformayor.com.